Hello YouTubers. Today's video is about the Firefly ferro rod and is it worth the money? First of all, I've got mine in 3 knives. I bought the 3-pack large size. I think it was $13 or $15. This one put in my cyber tool and it worked perfect. Fit perfect. Then on the older, I think it's a Craftsman knife, it didn't. I had to trim a little bit off, not much, just a little bit to get it to work. And you just use a pair of wire cutters to do that. Then I tried to put one in this knife because this is the reason I really bought the large for. And to my surprise, I had to cut quite a bit off. I think the reason is the hole, the compartment that the toothpick slides into, narrows or thins near the end because the toothpick is actually longer than this Firefly, which was a little bit of a disappointment, but not that big of one, and I'll show you why. Now, I like having these in the knives. I like the idea of being able to start a fire with them. And yes, you can start a fire with them, as I will show you. Now, you do have to practice with these, as you can see. They're small. Depending on your hand size and your finger size is how you're going to have to hold them. So I do recommend practicing. This is my fire starter of choice, and that is just a petroleum soaked cotton ball. And as you can see, excuse me, it will start a fire fast. These are really easy to light. Any type of spark hits them, they're going to ignite. Burn for quite a while. That's just a small piece. I really like these. I'm going to do a video on how I make them. Let that burn over there. Now, fat wood, I've always had trouble with. I think it's because just the fat wood I have. It's not as easy as the petroleum. But with this little Firefly, let's see if we can get this going. This method I'm using, I found out for me, dragging it back works best. I always have trouble with this stuff. I don't know why. I think the fire making gods don't like. There it goes. Let that burn for a little bit. Like I said, I've always had trouble with fat wood. Could just be me. But this will start a fire. These little fire steels, I hope that other companies and Victorinox either starts making them or they include them in with their knives. I really like them. I like the idea of them being with me all the time and not having to worry about carrying a separate ferro rod. And in my opinion, this is a huge innovation for these knives. Having this in there, not very many people use a toothpick. Some people do, but I would rather have one of these in there than a toothpick. And as short as that is, the longer ones are actually easier to light fires with. But as short as that is, I can still get a fire lit. It's with me all the time. Put them in 3 of my knives, 2 of which I have with me almost all the time, at least one. I got the tips that glow in the dark. I don't know if that's going to help or not, but I just like the way they look. But they are worth buying. You should practice with them. The biggest thing about these is they're just small. Some people with big hands are going to find them a little bit problematic. But if you practice, that's not going to be that big of a problem. Are they a gimmick? No, they work. And I like them. Is it a last-ditch use? I'm going to say no. If I'm out somewhere and I don't have my bigger fire steel, or if it's back in the truck and I don't want to walk and get it, but I need a fire, I'm pulling this out. They don't last as long as a big ferro rod, so that might be a concern. So I wouldn't overuse them. I would practice with them, but I'm glad I bought them. I'm going to buy some more of them. I'm going to buy a combo pack. I've got some smaller knives that I want to put them in, just because I think that this, in my opinion, is kind of a game changer for the Victorinox knife. This puts it, in my opinion, in a different class as far as how useful they are to have with you. I think they're that big, they're that important. And I would highly recommend buying these. Practice with them, use them, but these are absolutely wonderful. You may have to change your technique when you strike these, because you have to support them. If you don't, and right there is what happens when you don't wear a glove and you're striking off the saw blade. That cut into me big and hurt. But anyway, getting back to this, you need to support this when you strike on it, and strike it from the thin side, not the flat. The flat thickness is what holds it in. So you always want to have it not like this, but like this. And you always want to have some kind of support when you're striking on this, or they will break. But just be careful with them, practice with them. I'm glad I bought them. I'm going to buy some more. I love these little things. They do work. Gonna have to practice with them, like anything, like any kind of equipment you use or you're gonna depend on. Practice with it. The fatwood I use is from the DIY store. It's probably not the best, but once I practice and change my technique, I can start that relatively easy now, just from practicing. But yeah, if you're thinking about these, buy them. They're worth the money. The fit may not be exactly the way you would think it is. Like I said, this little short one works just fine. I was thinking of getting a variety pack to begin with, but I thought, well, what am I going to do with the short ones? Do they even work? And then I was forced to use one. And yeah, I'm pleased with it actually. So I say, if you're in the market, pick them up. They're worth the money. Practice with them, and I think you'll be surprised how well they work. Well, thank you for watching.